Hello my gorgeous loves out there and welcome. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about some of my favorite like small and mini palettes because like they said, bigger is not always better and I have so many cute small palettes to go over with you guys today. But before we get into this video, if you're new here, hello, welcome. My name is Bri and I'm just a crazy lover of all things beauty and I like to post a lot of fun, colorful makeup content. I like to do a lot on indie makeup, so if that is what you're into, then please consider hitting that subscribe button and joining this little family. But with that being said, let's get into this video. Alright, welcome my loves. I'm so excited to talk about more eyeshadow palettes on my channel. It's like my favorite topic and I love going over like some of my favorites in different categories. I've done this with like favorite nude palettes, favorite grungy palettes, favorite summer, spring, seasonal palettes. So I figured I might as well go over some of my favorite small palettes that I love using, I love traveling with, or pairing with other palettes as companion palettes. These are also good and I have 10 here to go over, like my most loves. These are like 9-pan palettes and smaller. But before we get into all the palettes, if you're curious about this eye look, I did film it. I'm not sure if that video will be up before this one or after this one, but I am doing like a monochromatic series on my channel and this was the first one in the series, an all green look. Isn't it fierce? I feel so good in it. But in case you're curious about that, I mean, I will also have what I'm wearing on my face also linked in the description. Now let's get into the palettes. I'm just gonna go over all of them. None are in like a certain order. This is not a ranking. I love all these palettes equally and for different reasons. I will also include swatches. I feel like that's the best way to showcase eyeshadow palettes, by showing you guys swatches, and I just love a reason to do swatches. It makes me happy. But anyways, let's get into the first palette I want to show. This is the Oud palette, or Oud palette, I think that's how you pronounce it. Maybe I'm saying that wrong, but this is from Oden's Eye, and I have talked about this many times on my channel because it's a beautiful, smoky, foresty green palette. I don't have a lot of these types of greens in my collection, and just the color options, how they paired everything together is so beautiful. Like I can do a full-on completed look with this gorgeous little mini palette. I've traveled with this. I've paired it with other palettes many times. I love this luxury shade. Ugh, like look at it. It's a smoky green, deep foresty dream. Like, oh, it's so gorgeous. And then it paired it with some beautiful greens. You have an inner corner highlight. So I just really like this. Like this is a full standalone palette if you want like a look that's in these kind of green tones, and I feel like they're very unique green tones. So I really enjoy this palette. And I mean, I got a monochromatic green look. You know I love me and my greens. Then going on to the other palette, which is from Nabla. This is the Midnight Cutie palette. Like they have a whole cutie series of like little 6-pan palettes, and this is their like all blue one. Except there's this one bronzy shade, which I don't know if they necessarily needed to include this bronzy shade. I wish it was actually like a different shade, like a different blue or matte or something like that. But besides that, I still really love this. I love these metallics in here. They're so beautiful and foiled. I love these mattes. They even have a cream to powder matte, and I love that formula from Nabla as well as Natasha Denona. You have a beautiful inner corner highlight. Now I can do a completed look with this and like be happy with it, but I also love to pair this with other palettes if I want to pull in some of these kind of blues into a look. And every now and then I use this bronzy shade, even though I really concentrate on the blues. But this is one of my favorite like little mini blue palettes in my collection. And then I have this one from Shroud Cosmetics, which this is one of their newer palettes. This is the Moonfall palette. It's a beautiful jewel tone dream. Now this is on the darker mid-tone side, so there's no real true lighter shades as like inner corner highlights or like brightening shades. But because I like to use this more as a companion palette, I'm totally fine with that. But the quality in here is excellent. Now the mattes to me are a little bit more on the buildable side, but these metallics, foiled, smooth, creamy dreams. And I just love these kind of jewel tone tones. Like I really like these kind of colors. So I love this color story. I love the quality. I think the shades are just dreamy and beautiful and gorgeous. And I've gotten a lot of use out of this since I've brought it in my collection, and it is fairly new to my collection. It's so, so pretty. And then of course, if I'm gonna mention Shroud, I have to mention the It's Frickin' Bats palette from the collab with Batty Bean. Now at the time she was called Beaute Bean, but this was so gorgeous. Like when she featured this on her channel, I gasped. Because I was like, that is so gorgeous. It's the most beautiful little 9-pan palette I ever seen. Like these limey greens and then these like periwinkle shades, these teals. You got this beautiful like black and purple. I'm actually able to do completed looks with this, and I feel like all of these tones pair so nicely, and you can go different directions. Like I could do more than one kind of look with just this 9-pan palette. I could go purple, I could go teal, I could go lime green, I could just mix them all together. You have a lot of options in here for only having 9 shadows. Quality is excellent. Creamy metallics, beautiful mattes. Like Batty Bean did an amazing job in Shroud. Like this was such a amazing collab. Like this sold out so many times. It took forever for it to get to me because they just had production issues, smaller brand. They weren't expecting so much love for this palette, but I'm so happy I got my hands on it, and I think they keep restocking it. Like I still think you can buy this from Shroud. It's so good. Then I have this one from BH Cosmetics, which I think this is actually discontinued, but this was from their like Birthstone series. This is the Peridot palette for August. This was a gorgeous little mini one out of that whole collection. Some of them were misses, but this one was definitely a hit out of all of the different birthstones that they did. But I mean, they have this limey green. You have like this beautiful like mustardy yellow. You have this deeper green. I love this green metallic. Now there is a pressed glitter in here, but I don't totally hate it because it's in a shade that I really love. And then you have the mix of orange shades in here. So I've gotten a lot of use out of this little green palette, and I can do completed looks with this, but I often pair this with palettes. Like I use this more as a companion palette than anything, but I was really impressed by the overall quality of this. It was very affordable, and it was like compact and cute. It was one of my favorite out of the Birthstone collection. I have a few more, but this is the only one I'm going to mention because this one's my like favorite one out of that series. And then I have a more nudie, cool tone, smoky, sexy, glamorous palette. This is the one from Nabla. This is the Platinum palette from their Cuties palette series. This is very nude and toned down. And you know, usually I'm very colorful, but I love me some rich tones like this. And this one has one of the most beautiful metallic silvers that you will ever see. I have talked about this silver right here many times. I have said this is the best silver I think in my collection. It is stunning. I mean, there's some other beautiful silvers in my collection that, you know, compare, but I love this so much. And then you have these other cool tones. You have a nice deepening matte. You have this like mid-tone, and just everything is so beautiful. Like I love traveling with this one because I always like to have at least one like nudie palette in case I just want to do something a little bit more chill and not so colorful. This also pairs really nicely with other palettes. It's just so gorgeous and high quality. The mattes are amazing, pigmented, blendable, and the metallics are absolutely stunning. I just haven't bought something from Nabla in a while. I feel like their like latest releases haven't pulled me in, but these cutie palettes were like my favorite palettes that came out from Nabla. I mean, I love some of the bigger ones, but they just had so many cute little palettes. Then going on to this palette from Colourpop. This is one of my favorite like Disney collab palettes that they did, the one with Tinkerbell. This one to me was the best in terms of color story, quality, execution, packaging. Like everything on this is so beautiful and whimsical. And then it has these gorgeous greens, but a few pops of pinks, which I think it was like a little unexpected twist to add those pinks in, but they just work. Like you can even mix the pinks and greens, or you can do like an all pink look or an all green look. You have this beautiful kind of antique gold shade. I just thought the quality was so good, and the color story, the packaging, like I still really enjoy using this. It's such a beautiful whimsical green palette, and I mean, greens are always going to pull me in, so that's why I really love this. And I feel like whenever they do like collabs, they usually improve the formula or make it even better. So that's why I also love this. I feel like this is better than the usual Colourpop formula as well. And it was on the affordable side and so pretty. Then the next palette is from Lethal Cosmetics, which was a collab with Teresa from Teresa is Dead. This is the Teresa is Lethal palette, and she did such a good job with this one. This is the second palette that they came out together, and I think the colors in here are very unique. It's very interesting shades that she paired together. It makes me get a little creative. Like I kind of had to think like, what do I want to mix together? But you can do a lot with this 9-pan palette. You can go more like gray purple with some silver. You can go on the tealy green blue route. You can even like mix the purple and the pink. You can even like throw on this beautiful like pinky, I feel like it might have like a little bit of an orange shift to it, but the shimmers are stunning. This is also a really stunning silver. Like it comes pretty close in comparison to the one that I showed you from the Nabla palette, but the mattes are really pigmented. They pack a punch. Like look at that. Look at that beautiful pastel, like lavender pink shade. Quality is excellent. And I just love that I was able to create so many different things with just this color story. And it also pairs really nicely with the other palette, the Lethal is Dead palette. That one pairs so good with this. I love that like she used different shades and they just go so beautifully together. Then the next palette, which, oh, this is probably one of my most loved 9-pan palettes of my collection that has rated so high on my channel that I have raved about a lot to you guys, and I still am in love with this palette. This is from It's Belle Cosmetics, the Break the Rules palette. I really feel like this was the palette that put It's Belle Cosmetics on the map. Like so many people were raving about this. They lost their mind over the quality and how affordable it was, and like it's stunning. You can still get this palette. If you want some beautiful, intense metallic, some shifty shades, you don't want to break the bank, I highly, highly recommend this palette from It's Belle. It's so beautiful and gorgeous and stunning in every way possible. You will see the swatches. Like this is so pretty. You have this metallic red. So this is, you know, definitely used as a companion palette, but it's one of my most favorite smaller all shimmer palettes to pull with, like all matte palettes, or you can pull this with their Fruity Realm all matte palette, or your matte singles, or you're just needing like an interesting shimmer into a look. This is such a good palette to pull in. So I use this a lot. Maybe this is probably like my most used smaller palette in my collection. That's how much I love this and adore the quality in this palette. And then the next palette, which, whew, this is another well-loved, one of my most favorite palettes in my collection, that is from Unearthly Cosmetics, and that is their Lure palette. Now I have it where it says Alien Cosmetics, because that's what they used to be called, but this palette, woo, I've talked about this palette. I think this was like #1 on my ranking in a couple videos because I just love this so much. And you can do a lot with this as well. You can go more teal, you can go goldy and black and do something nudie. You have this like shifty Medusa shade. You can lean into like this burgundy with these pinks. Or you can do something like really warm with these like orange and mustardy yellow shades. So this is also pretty versatile for being a smaller palette. And the quality, y'all, absolutely chef's kiss. The mattes are blendable and pigmented. The shimmers are sparkly and stunning and just, gorgeous on the eyes. Like, look at this. And it's perfect for the fall time. That's when I use this the most, is in the fall. But anytime I've ever done a look with this, I've gotten a lot of compliments. People are like, what is on your eyes? Because this is so good. So these are probably like my 2 most used smaller palettes. These 2 right here. But I love all of the ones that I mentioned. These are all so good. I'm so happy to have all of these in my collection. I think there's only 2 that I mentioned that I don't think you can get anymore, but I think all of the other ones are available. But these are just 10. I mean, I have more mini palettes in my collection, but I didn't want this video to be too much. Like, I didn't want to like use 20 palettes. I felt like 10 was the perfect amount to show. And these are just all really nice color stories, high quality. I recommend any of these. So these are my favorite small mini palettes that are in my collection that I get a lot of use out of. And I think these are just as good as like some of my bigger palettes, if not better, because they're so amazing and like nice curated little color stories with high quality shadows in them. But anyways, guys, that was everything for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, found it interesting, intriguing, enjoyed the swatches, my commentary. You guys will have to let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What are your favorite mini palettes? Do you love some of these? Do you agree, disagree? Like, I would love to hear all of your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're new here and you enjoy this video, you like a lot of fun, colorful makeup content, you like a lot on indie makeup, then please hit that subscribe button and join this little family. I would love to have you here. Also, don't forget to check out the description below. I will have all of these palettes linked and any videos that I have done with these palettes. If you want to see me create looks and actually use them on camera, I will have my makeup link, like what I'm wearing, foundation and eyes. Like I said, I did film this video, so if that video is already up, it will be linked below, and I will have my contact and my social media platforms. I'm also on Instagram as Breezy Lifestyle and Breezy_Beauty. So if you want to join my Instagram fam, I would really, really love that. But guys, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, for hanging out with me, being amazing, being supportive. I just love all of you guys so much, and I just hope all of you are doing well wherever you are in the world, and I'm just sending you guys so much light and love. But until next time, bye guys.